Shalom, loved ones. My name is Troy Cady, and I invite you to join me now as I offer midday prayers with PlayWell communities. PlayWell is a faith network of those who are learning to live by the unforced rhythms of grace. In today's time of prayer, I will offer a reading from the wonderful book, If You Want to Write, by Brenda Ueland. The reading is on the life of the imagination, overcoming critical spirits, and speaking from the truth of what you know. Well, with that, let's get ready. We light this candle as a reminder that Christ, the light of the world, is present with us. The words of Jesus from Matthew chapter 11, as translated by Eugene Peterson in the Message. Jesus says, "Come to me, get away with me, and you'll recover your life. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace." In the middle of the day, we return to you, Jesus, our center. In you we live and move and have our being. Like parched souls searching for a spring, we thirst for you and your ways. With joy we draw water from the wells of your salvation. Just take some time now to just rest, breathe, and just be present. Here's a confession about learning to live as someone who is loved by God. And with each line, I'll leave a pause afterwards, a bit of silence, so you can either say this confession aloud yourself or just reflect on the words in your own heart as a way of making it your own. I believe that I am God's beloved child. I am learning to let God's love fill my heart, to let it shape my life. So that I may be just who God has made me to be, nothing more and nothing less. That I may abide in love and share God's love with all that I am. Amen. Savor these words from Brenda Ueland, in her excellent book called If You Want to Write. And how will we know more? Only through the imagination, which comes from God, which the prophets and all great people have spoken. But to get back to the critics who obstruct and frighten imagination away, in themselves and others. It is plain from the history of architecture, painting, and sculpture that men began to theorize critically only when inspiration has died down. But inspiration only dies down because the theoreticians, the horses of instruction, begin to dissect, analyze, and then codify into rules what yesterday's great artists did freely from their true selves. Another reason I don't like critics, the one in myself as well as in other people, is that they try to teach something without being it. By encouraging the critic in themselves, the hater, they have killed the artist, the lover. Know that if you have a kind of cultured know-it-all in yourself who takes pleasure in pointing out what is not good, in discriminating, in reasoning, and comparing, you are bound under a knave. I wish you could be delivered. For I know that the energy of the creative impulse comes from love and all its manifestations: admiration, compassion, glowing respect, gratitude, praise, compassion, tenderness, adoration, enthusiasm. Compare the tenderness of great artists with the attitude of critics towards other men. You are kind to painters, Van Gogh wrote to his brother, and I tell you, the more I think, the more I feel that there is nothing more truly artistic than to love people. When Sir Joshua Reynolds wrote, "Enthusiastic admiration seldom promotes knowledge," Blake wrote furiously, William Blake that is, wrote furiously in the margin of the book, "Enthusiastic admiration is the first principle of knowledge and its last." And remember, the word enthusiasm means divine inspiration. And so, in your own work, whatever you love will be easy to write or paint. One day, many of us went painting in the country. Most of us had never painted before. A few had done it a little bit. And the others looked for sections in the landscape that would make interesting compositions. "Mine will be best," I told them, because I looked for something to paint that I liked. Something that I felt a fierce, delighted enthusiasm for. 2 carriages with spidery red and yellow wheels flashing highlights in the sun. And my painting was best. Not because I had more skill or talent than the others, but because I liked what I looked at, was filled with a vehement energy over it. It is because of the critics, the doubters in the outer world and within ourselves, that we have such hesitancy when we write. And I know the hesitancy just mars it. It does not make it better at all. As I write this, I many times have had the chilling feeling come around my heart because of the thought, what if it may not be true? People will say I am crazy. Where is my logic? I haven't a PhD in philosophy or psychology. But I don't let the cold feeling stay there. because just the same, I know what I say is true because it is true to me, and therefore I say it freely, and you must have it. Therefore, when you write, speak with complete self-trust, and do not timidly qualify and feel the ice of well-authenticated literary usage and critical soundness, so afraid when you have finished writing that they will riddle you full of holes. Let them. Later, if you find what you wrote isn't true, just accept the new truth. Consistency is the horror of the world. And so here's a prayer for our work, whether it involves writing or whatever other kind of creative work you might be about today. We commit to you the work that is done and the work that is yet undone. May your beauty rest upon us, Lady Wisdom. We trust you will complete the incomplete. We believe you will finish what you started. May we meet you on the road with us, Brother Jesus. As we labor, be our resting place. Please make our work restful and our rest fruitful. May we remain present to your presence, Great Spirit. And now receive this blessing of Teresa de Avila. Let nothing disturb you, nothing affright you. All things are passing. God never changes. Patient endurance attains to all things. Whom God possesses, in nothing is wanting. Alone, God suffices. Amen. Well, thank you for joining me today in Midday Prayers with PlayWell Communities. There's a group of us that meet on Sundays at 12:30 Central. And if you would like to be a part of that Zoom, we are able to actually connect with one another. Just let me know and I'll give you details on how to join that. Well, I hope you have a good rest of the day. And above all, be loved because you are beloved.